So how do we end the green doors?
No, I just leave. So as soon as you're done, we're like, okay, now we can change
You
it
go
to
directly to this one, or are you gonna go up?
this.
You're still gonna talk about this?
No, I'm not. It's just to have something there. Or no, maybe
Because if you click this one, you really won't. It goes straight to this one.
here.
So I think you just have to explain this one.
Oh, before.
Like putting it.
Okay.
Because I don't think because yeah, that is because this is the one that they will see. They won't be able to see the 1 and 2.
Yeah. So.
Then activity time. Hi, good morning. Good morning. So in 3 minutes, they will be back. So I have to be so this should be.
Yes.
Good morning, I'm Jonna.
So
You're who you are?
Okay,
thank you for coming. You don't know about this room, I will also use it.
Ah, okay.
Just know
So
something.
this is one.
Good morning, everyone. So we have like 3 minutes left. Maybe you could just wait for the others to come in before we start. Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you for coming. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming again. We will start in 4 minutes.
Alright, so good morning everyone. Thank you for coming. I guess we can now start. So I am Jakelou, a Freedom Lifemap advocate. So it's truly an honor to welcome you to our session today and talk about how Freedom Lifemap has been part of my own journey. So this tool helped me reflect on my goals, track my progress, and gain clarity on the areas of my life I wanted to improve. So more than anything, it reminded me that change is possible and that support can be both personal and empowering. So I'm excited to get today together with two empowering women who continue to lead and grow this work. We have Leydi Rubio, our Associate Director for Freedom Lifemap, and Jonna, Eleccion, our Country Director at EverFree Philippines. Together, we welcome you to our session, Transforming Survivor Support and Program Impact through Freedom Lifemap. So this session is not just about a tool, it's about meaningful engagement, dignity, and impact. We will share about how Freedom Lifemap is helping organizations respond to what matters most and how it is shaping the way we will walk alongside those individuals we serve. So last August 2023, I took my first Freedom Lifemap assessment during my senior year in college. And honestly, I wasn't really very interested in it. It felt like just another task to complete. However, as time went on and I revisited the assessment during different periods of my life, something in me changed. I began to realize its true value. It wasn't just a checklist or a set of questions. It was a tool that revealed pieces of my story, my journey, and my growth. So I can still remember how I felt, how my heart raced as I looked at my first Freedom Lifemap assessment. A vibrant mix of greens and yellows, a reflection of my growth and areas I need to improve. So my greens is in rights and safety, and my least green is in housing and access. So seeing these greens brought sense of pride and gratitude. It made me reflect on everything I had learned from therapies, from the shelter, from the seminars and trainings I had attended. These experiences shaped and taught me about my rights and safety. At that moment, I felt a deep sense of empowerment. I realized that I was equipped to identify what was safe, what was right, and what was best for my future. However, reflecting on my least green was equally important. It revealed areas in my life that needs attention, areas that are tied to the most basic needs, like safe housing, reliable transportation, and stable communication. These gaps serve as a reminder that although I've made significant progress, there are still challenges I need to address to create a more stable and sustainable life. My yellow indicators or my areas of needs were in physical health, healthy teeth and eyesight, safe and stable housing, and safe opportunities. I am constantly worried about my health, especially during my senior year, when I barely had time to rest and could not afford to get sick. So I had to put off getting basic health care, and my dental and eyesight suffered because I could not afford for checkups and for medications. Our housing situation only adds to my stress. We live on a piece of land we do not own and in a wooden structure house that is very not safe for typhoon. With my sister and I being still in school, we cannot afford to rent a safer place for us. I've also realized how little I know about safe opportunities. I do not feel confident in identifying safe employment, self-employment, or better opportunities for my future. Seeing my life map after every session gave me clarity. I celebrated my green indicators, and the yellow indicators guided me to prioritize what needs attention. I can break down my goals into steps, decide when to start, and of course, set a timeline for achieving them. So this process allowed me to map the path to becoming the person I envisioned myself to be. So it's like creating a roadmap for my dreams, one step at a time. So with the priorities I had identified, I took concrete steps to achieve them. So I applied to become a student assistant at our university, got accepted, was able to work in various offices, and of course with different teachers. So this opportunity gave me an additional source of income to help cover my college expenses. I also utilized EverFree's Learning Hub for printing, for free access to the internet, free gadget use, and other school-related needs. And this allowed me to save money for other essentials. So this small progress made a significant impact on my life. I completed my college internship, graduated with Latin honors, found a decent job at a local university, passed the teacher's licensure examination, and currently pursuing my master's degree in education. These milestones were instrumental for me to address my needs and achieve my priorities. So I feel a deep sense of accomplishment and honestly almost surprised as I look at how certain areas of my life improved from my first Freedom Life Map assessment to a year later. So seeing the indicators in the map shift from yellow to green made me realize just how far I've come. It's a powerful reminder of the growth that I've achieved. However, noticing some greens turn back to yellow has been eye-opening. It helped me understand on what adjustments I should make to align with my priorities. So I want to highlight in here the significant improvements I made from my first Freedom Life Map assessment to 1 year later. It has been a real transformation. The key areas where I've seen the progress are in access to clean water, healthy teeth and eyesight, safe and stable housing, basic housing, means of transport, communication, public benefits, and safe opportunities. So during the first assessment, my family and I relied on spring water. As we live in mountain barangay, where purchasing purified water was too expensive for us. However, thanks for my income from my job, we can now afford to buy purified water, ensuring that we have safe drinking water. This small yet vital change marks a significant shift from our living conditions from 5.1 to a year later. And I struggled with dental health and eyesight issues in the past because I could not afford it, which really affected my confidence. Now, I've allocated part of my salary to prioritize my dental health, allowing me to visit the dentist for dental care. This focus on my health makes me feel more empowered. My next goal is to save for an eye checkup and a new glasses. Our housing situation also changed for the better. In the past, we lived in a difficult situation where we did not own the land we live in, creating a constant fear for us of losing our home. Now with my income, I can afford to rent a space in a boarding house, offering my family more options in case the owner of the land takes it back. My parents can choose either to live with me or with my brother who is currently building his own home. So we no longer worry about safety as we now have secure living arrangements and meet our basic needs. Transportation was another area of improvement. I lived in a mountain barangay and transportation was expensive. Before, I rode a jeep to school because it was cheaper, even if sometimes I had to wait from 3 to 5 hours to get a ride. Now I can choose to ride a motorcycle even if it's pricier as it's faster and saves me time. Now that I have a source of income, I'm lucky to afford higher fares without worrying too much. Communication here also changed for the better during this period. So in the past, I did not have the means to stay connected. Buying prepaid loads felt expensive, and we did not have a Wi-Fi connection at home, being at a mountain barangay. Now I can afford prepaid loads easier, and I used my salary to install a Wi-Fi connection at home. So this makes it easier to stay connected, find resources, and support my plans for further studies and personal growth. Moreover, my understanding of public benefits was limited during my first Freedom Lifemap assessment. With the help from my case manager and of course my own efforts, I've learned more about the support available to me. This helped me make better decisions and use the resources to support my needs and goals. Finally, I've come to understand what safe opportunities look like. Before, I was not confident enough in how to tell if an opportunity was good. But with guidance from mentors and my experience as a student assistant, I learned how to recognize safe and useful opportunities. My confidence has grown a lot, and now I can handle my career path better. So as a survivor, setting priorities is essential in navigating the challenges life throws our way. Each survivor's journey is unique, shaped by our experiences, circumstances, and available resources. And with resources often limited, setting priorities becomes a lifeline. It ensures that the most basic needs and urgent needs are addressed first, like food, shelter, and safety. With priorities vary from person to person, understanding and focusing on them can empower survivors to overcome challenges, rebuild their lives, and find stability. Having the freedom to choose and concentrate on what matters most fills me with empowerment, clarity, and peace. It's liberating to know that I have control over my priorities and can make intentional decisions without feeling overwhelmed. I also feel deep gratitude and fulfillment in knowing that I can pursue life's goal with a clearer sense of direction. Looking back, I feel a deep sense of accomplishment, pride, and gratitude. Despite the challenges and the setbacks, the progress I've made in understanding myself and what truly brings me joy is meaningful. Today, I feel grounded, more connected to myself, and more aware of how far I've come. It's rewarding to know that the choices I made, guided by the life map, has led to a more balanced and purposeful life. I am content, yet motivated to keep evolving, knowing that every step forward is a part of continuous journey. So thank you, and I will hand it over to Leydi.
Thanks, Jakelou. Your experience with Freedom Life Map reflects how we support participants in our 2 signature sites in Uganda and the Philippines, where we have built a strong foundation through direct services. And at EverFree, and I'm sure you all agree, we believe that every person deserves dignity, safety, and freedom, not just for today or for a short period, just for the long term. And for over a decade, our teams in the Philippines, in Uganda, have delivered individualized and strong care with measurable outcomes, and that has been helping us to know exactly what healing truly requires. We know that we have to do more. We know that if we want to scale and impact more victims, we need to do it with better care, better data, and a stronger collaboration. So it's a pleasure to be here with you and explain you a little bit more about what we do, how we do it, and how Freedom Life Map works. So we developed this strength-based tool with UCI. It's a tool developed by and with individuals with life experience worldwide. And this tool has indicators that are actionable, adaptable, and they are presented in a multimodal way. I'm gonna explain a little bit more about these, but they also have standard achievements. And as you can see right now, we have around 50 indicators, and they are across 6 dimensions of lasting freedom. We have health and basic needs, rights and safety, housing, infrastructure and access, education, employment and finance, community and connection, mental and emotional well-being. So as you can see, these allow us to have a holistic care, and that's how we guide all our processes. So I'm gonna just take you to the platform to give you an idea of how it looks like. Let's do a real live demo. So it's accessed through our online platform, and it looks like this. We have 4 tabs, so you can see, and for each participant, we create, let's go with Alan. We create a profile, and that includes information such as gender, date of birth. We only ask for the month and the year, the intake date. When was the last time we complete a survey with a participant? Also, we include the types of exploitations, the organization, and facilitator. So this is where your team members, your case managers, actively participate in this progress. So every case manager is helping or support one of the participants through the whole process. And the rest, like email, phone number, country, nationality, this is not mandatory, it's only optional, and it depends on how the participants want to be contacted. Now let's move to the here. So I'm just gonna take you through how a survey is complete. Let's do it with Alan. We're gonna just start a survey. Right now we're partnering with different organizations around the world, so you will see we have different surveys in different languages. So right now I'm gonna do it with the English version from Vietnam. We can also select all the programs they are currently enrolling. So this depends on each organization using the platform. So right now I'm just gonna select the two programs we have available. This is also important. It's available offline, and I just wanna reiterate that this is a process we have been working with our partners for years, and we're always hearing their feedback, and this is something they tell us, like, we need to be able to conduct surveys in rural areas, so we changed that and now it's available. It's not an issue if you don't have internet at the moment. It's just you can download the survey and complete it with participants wherever you are. So we just click here and it will take us to the privacy policy. We structure in a way that is easy to understand. It talks about data collection, also data privacy, and once we agree with this, take us to initial questions. This is also something that depends on each organization. So right now, and this is more for like demographic data they would like to have. So same, I'm just gonna try this real quick. 2, 6, and once I hit continue, so this is how each indicator looks like. So first we have right now we're in the health and basic needs dimension, and this particular indicator addresses physical health. And as you can see, for each one of the indicators we have 3 levels of need. So, and this works like a stoplight. We have the first one, which is the green level, and it says, when I'm sick or don't feel well, I usually know how to look for care and I use the care I need. So normally, internationally, green means everything is fine, okay, go. And this is exactly how we can interpret this. We also, and this is where I was talking about like a multimodal format. So we have the description under each indicator, but we also have illustration that emphasize what is written. And the second level is yellow. When I'm sick or don't feel well, I usually know how to look for care, but sometimes I don't use the care I need. And this is more like, okay, wait, hold on, let's take a step back and look what is going on right here. And the last one is, when I'm sick or don't feel well, I usually don't know how to look for care, and I don't often use the care I need. And this is the last level. This is the red one, and it's just watch out. We need to wait, try to understand what the participant, and sometimes they have questions, they need a little bit more help, and this is why we have case managers, facilitators, so they can explain to them what this means and maybe clarify some questions during the whole process. So just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go through all these indicators, but now I hope you have a better idea. And we also have the skip. I will prefer not to say options in case a indicator doesn't apply to the participant context. So I'm just gonna click through all of them. We just go through different dimensions, all the indicators, and let's keep going. So this process usually takes around 50 minutes, and but of course depends on the participant, the case manager. So once we complete the process, this is what we get. We get the life map. We can see how many reds, how many yellows, greens we have, and this is the moment where the case management part comes in, right? We, the participant and the case manager sit together and they start analyzing this freedom life map. And we can also, for each indicator, we can, let me do it with this one. So dental and ear health, we can do both. We can add a priority or add a achievement. So if I want to add a priority, and this is entirely up to the participant, okay? We can answer questions like, what are some of the challenges you have faced in addressing this need? What can you do to address this need or make progress? And how long would it take to make progress? And then we can also add achievements like, what actions did you take to address this need, or who or what helped you to address this need? So once we confirm, you can see that there is this indicator is pinned, and there is also a gold trophy, and this means this is an achievement for the participant and a priority. So in real life, when we continue, we just get a version of, like, we can email this Freedom Life Map to the participant, or we can print it. At the same time, we can save it as a PDF, share it with, or through WhatsApp, email, however you prefer. And we can also, so this is, as you can see, this is a process that is led by participants. It's entirely all their answers, and this is the best moment where they can really say what they need, what they feel, and how they want to lead their healing process. It's not about what we as organizations want to hear or how we can help them. It's really just being open, and this is very, for them, it's like they're sharing in very sensitive information. They're coming in for assistance, and we just want to provide them with a safe environment, safe space to really express how they want to start, how they want to proceed with their goals, with their priorities in the next few months. So we usually do it every 6 months, because that way we can see the progress. Organizations can also visualize how they can plan their resources, how they can better support them, how they can improve programs, and just have a big picture, or like a comparison between different time points. So the first, you can see here 4, and that means this participant has completed 4 surveys. So every time you see this progress, you can see these indicators. The first one that we reviewed together, the physical health, went from yellow to green and maintained to green, but also can happen that can regress. That's totally fine, and that's why we know this is a process that usually takes 2 years, 3 years. It depends on the participant. We don't know, and we do it until they decide to close the case and start with their reintegrate or continue with their integration process. And now, so we're gonna go back to the presentation and just give you a more.
All right, so good morning, everyone. So Jakelou here presented earlier her personal experience about as an individual, as a survivor, using the Freedom Lifemap, while Leydi explained about, just to give you a picture, because we're talking about technology and it's so hard to explain results without having visuals of how the tool actually looks like. So that's our attempt. Hopefully we are successful in that areas. So now we are going to present to you results of Freedom Lifemap assessments, real data coming from the Philippines, because we have implemented the Freedom Lifemap over 2 years, or like both 1.5 years. So in essence, what the Freedom Lifemap or results of the Freedom Lifemap really gives us is turn information or data into actionable steps. So we all know in the sector, we don't want to do things that are actually an add-on to what we're currently doing. That's basic for us at the front line. So what I appreciate about the tool is that we could actually integrate it in our day-to-day processes. We all do assessments, right? We all wanted to think about what are the needs of the clients that we are serving according to their perspective. Or how do we truly center their voices without having the power dynamics and imbalance of a case manager and the clients that they're working with. So what we're finding out is that this tool is actually helpful in the process because they are the ones responding to the tool. They are the ones seeing the pictures, and they're the ones prioritizing areas that they wanted to look at. So in essence, the tool is easy to integrate into our day-to-day work. Secondly which is very important, we are looking at data that's accurate. So it's coming straight from the clients that we are working with. Thirdly, because as we have seen earlier, the tool allows us to actually crunch information into something that's meaningful. So it saves us time relative to, we don't have to crunch it ourselves. Download our Excels, try to navigate what areas are actually the needs of our clients. We just actually can see it right after assessments. And lastly, what's most important and what's useful for us is that it just doesn't stay as information. It actually informs decision as to what resources should we allocate in each areas of our programming. So that's what Freedom Lifemap has been so far in terms of our implementation in the Philippines. So this time, I am just going to show you results. So just real data of how we have been using the tool and how it has been informing our services on the ground. And so just really sharing what's worked, insights that we have seen so far, and how that has impacted or changed the way we do programming on the ground. So this is just to provide really the contextual big picture idea of, because I'm just showing the Philippines data of the Freedom Lifemap. So these are more than just numbers. These are actually communities that are at risk, children that are prone to sexual exploitation, women that are still in gender-based violence, experiencing a form of gender-based violence, and lastly, those who were trapped in domestic work. This just provides the context as to who we are implementing the Freedom Lifemap for. So, since we have implemented the Freedom Lifemap, we have completed over 1,600 assessments. So that represents over 1,100 participants and covers 10 organizations in the country. So mostly of them are young women, and This will provide the context of the next slides relative to insights that we saw as we used the tool. So forgive me for too much graph illustration, but I'm trying. So these essentially is the picture results of Freedom Lifemap according to the 6 dimensions. So Leydi showed earlier, health and basic needs, rights and safety, housing and access, education, employment and finances, community and connection, and then mental health and emotional well-being. So what we are seeing, it was mentioned earlier, it's like a stoplight, right? So green talks about strengths, red talks about vulnerabilities. So we are seeing an upward trends for the greens, because as you can see, there are 4 time points, there are 4 points, so that actually means we have actually conducted the assessment 4 time points already, and we are seeing the upward trends for greens, and we are actually seeing the downward trends for red. But what I feel we should be looking at is how these all started. What actually happened during time point 1, and how has it evolved over time? So, rights and safety is an area of greatest strength for the participants that we have worked in the Philippines. So it started high at time point 1, if you can see it's like 70%, right? But what is worth noting is that it has increased even over time. So what we're seeing is that with stable environment, it actually sustained the effort and the sense of safety for those clients that we are actually working with. On the other hand, red here, or the area of greatest vulnerability at the first assessment for the population that we have completed the Lifemap for, is in the area of education, employment, and finances. So it started, though you can see the upward trend for the green, that actually means it actually improved over time due to prioritization of services, but it was the lowest or the greatest area of vulnerability. So it wasn't a surprise for us, because working, and I think for all of us, economic empowerment, anything that puts them on the risk of exploitation, poverty, systemic concerns affecting their safety, lack of jobs, has greatly impacted their sense of this very specific domain or indicator. So the Freedom Lifemap allows us to see at a big picture the well-being progress of the clients, but at the same time it allows us to see the details of the vulnerability if we wanted to grow granular relative to prioritization. So for the population that we have worked with, these were the top 5 vulnerabilities at the beginning at baseline. So it's savings, household income, money management, healthy teeth and eyesight, and communication. But if you see a pattern for this top 5 vulnerabilities, the top 3 are actually all economic indicators. So savings, household income, money management has always been an area of need for the clients as expressed at the beginning of assessment. So because top 1 was savings, we look at the barriers to it as, because it's available at the Freedom Lifemap. So we are seeing 4 themes as to why clients or participants can save. Number 1, there's limited income. Of course, they have to take care of basic needs first, then savings would come last. Secondly, their circumstances do not allow them to save, because number 1, they would be supporting maybe their family, or secondly, they are still in school. Thirdly, they have debts, and so debt repayment would have to become the priority, not saving. And then fourthly, there's lack of money management. So essentially, they just don't know how to save. So what did we do with the information? So these are informing us all these things. So it's now our turn to actually try to figure what should change in the way we do things on the ground. So looking at it closely, we have focused interventions on the areas of vulnerabilities as expressed by the client. So this may come off as a very straightforward, because it's all economic indicators, right? Sometimes it becomes very automatic. Let's do financial literacy, let's do entrepreneurship program, let's do employment program. But we all do. When we do things on the ground, there's certain level of details as to what actually employment program would work for the clients that we're working with. Or even the type of entrepreneurship program. We have reviewed how we do things. That way, we actually move to like starting small and growing it small according to what's up or what's needed by the clients or the participants that you're working with. So what essentially has happened here is we are trying to review and continuously look at how we do things to make sure that they are addressing the results of the client's needs according to the Freedom Lifemap information. So here, we are just actually showing you the 1-year progress of those top 5 vulnerabilities of the clients that we're working with. So just to inform you, I didn't chunk the data coming from Excel and everything because it's actually available in the tool. So it saves you time if you wanted to like think through about these types of things or if you just love data. So 1-year progress, you can see there is decrease in top vulnerabilities. So you can see in the tool, you would actually see the percentage improvement from 1-year period. So in this case, I tried to compare time point 1 to time point 3 because that's the 1-year period because we do it every 6 months. So we just focus on economic programs here. So if you would see household income, savings, and money management, for household income in 1 year's time, there's improvement in 44%, savings 44%, and money management at 30%. So you will also visually be able to also understand already how the shift from green at time point 1, 11% for household income, how that actually shifted to 41% by time point 3. So this visualization and understanding of just you trying to also really assess if there's impact to the work that we're doing, we are able to see it through the use of the tool. So I guess this is what's common among all. Earlier we just mentioned, what do we need? But how do us help? It's always about the nation, resources, and everything. But I guess for us, like really resonated with a colleague's thoughtful sharing about how we are able to maximize impact with limited resources. Because our resources will always be limited, but how do we actually ensure that is maximizing the impact? So we often face tough choices with limited resources. Freedom Lifemap helps us focus on what truly matters, responding to what clients needs most, and seeing real difference our work makes in their lives. So I'm just showing you here just the average assessment or the well-being improvements over time as we are seeing it for the participants that we are working. So from time point 1 to time point 4, you would see how well-being progress or the changes or increased vulnerabilities reducing over time. And at the same time, you could actually look at specific to dimensions. So you have shown earlier how we could look at it at the granular level, meaning the indicators, but how you could also measure well-being according to dimensions, but essentially according to just the overall well-being of a client. So this is a picture of 1-year progress of all those that have completed the Freedom Lifemap assessment, with education, employment, and finances being the area of greatest need at the very beginning, but also at the end of 1 year, getting the highest improvements at 30%. So it just actually informs how, when you're targeting service according to the needs of those that we're working with, it gives us the impact that we could actually measure. And this is followed by mental and emotional being at improvements at 28%. So on my part, I'll end it here where reflecting upon data, right? We always say Freedom Lifemap gives us more than numbers actually. It shows the human story behind each client's progress. And over time, we've seen steady improvements and well-being, reminding us that healing is possible, but not only possible, it's trackable and it's measurable. All right, so thank you everyone.
just to give you an idea of where we're at right now, we have completed more than 2,500 life maps and with over 1,800 participants. And this is worldwide. We're partnering with 24 organizations with more than 250 users. So our HQ, it's in the US, but we have partners in Mexico, Costa Rica, Bolivia, Paraguay. Also, we mentioned our signature sites in the Philippines, in Uganda. So we're right now going through an adaptation process in Tajikistan. We have partners in Cambodia, Vietnam, Uganda, and Kenya. And now, you guys can be the number 25. So if you're really interested in becoming one of our partners, this is the QR and you can apply for it. Now we're ready for questions.
Yes, please.
What does becoming a partner mean? I'm assuming it's more than making a life map available. So is it training staff at the partner community organization to conduct life maps and use it in the institution?
Yes. So the partnership begins with an adaptation process. So if you are in one of the countries I mentioned before, we have surveys that are available, so we can start as soon as possible. If we want to go to a new country, we have to go to a translation and adaptation process because we want to make the survey relevant to the participants, right? We need to know their context, we need to know we just need to change not that we're gonna change completely the survey, but we usually have meetings with the team members, with the case managers, because they are the ones who are in contact with participants. And after going through this process, the organization can start using the platform. So we also do training with case managers. We do training with program leaders, so they know how to analyze, how to interpret data, generate reports like the one that Jonna showed. And we also have meetings, calls every 3 months or month. It depends on each organization, but we usually do it with organizations every 3 months. We present some data, we give them some feedback, and we are with them the whole time. And we're also building a network. So last month we conduct 4 regional trainings, one for the US, another one for Latin America, one here with the Philippines, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and also one in Africa. So we make sure that we're all connected, we're using the data, and at the end what we want is if we have more organizations using the tool, we will have data to have regional trends. And after that, we can go to governments, we can go to multilateral organizations and show them what's going on, not just for our organization, but also for regions and globally. And that's the only way we can make changes and we can let them know what's the reality.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
First one, when I was listening to, I think your name is Jakelou, right? Yeah. So as we were sharing, you didn't want to do it, but then you did it, and then you realized, oh, I have lots of gaps, and then I feel like there's a inner driven desire to be better, but sometimes people are not that driven to be better. So I think I missed the link of what happened, who helped you, or you kind of have that inner drive, and I'm like, oh, this data show I have gaps, I want to improve myself. It seems like you have that drive within you. I feel like, what if you work with those who don't have that kind of drive, So that's the first question. And the second question is, this tool is like, sounds like it's geared to what like survivor related organization, but my organization, Freedom's Promise, we work on the prevention side thing, but obviously we work with a lot of vulnerable population. Can we use this as well?
So I think I'm personally a really goal-driven person. So the Lifemap at first, as my case manager oriented me about the process, the data privacy, and everything about the Lifemap. It was quite lengthy, and my patience is not that really good. However, as I've seen the results from, as I said, from the time point 1, which showed a lot of yellows. And after 6 months, I went again and identified, during the time point 1, I've identified priorities from my yellow indicators. And then after 6 months, I went back again to the office for the second assessment. And it showed that some of those 3 priorities, 2 of those I think were, some of those priorities were achieved and the others were not achieved. So it made me realize that, oh, okay, so I can really identify if this priority is achievable or not, and what steps can I do have. So I guess it's really on the participant if he or she is willing to really improve his or herself. But I can also say that with the guidance of the case manager and of course with the organization, it can really help the participant to gain better understanding on how important it is to improve, not just in life, not just in improve from the experiences that we have experienced and be better in life and as a well-being. Thank you.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
So you have 2 questions, right? So we're just gonna hit the 2 questions and then. So because I think the question earlier was like, will this work for the not motivated? I guess I'm just putting it there. Will this work for clients who are not motivated? Maybe Jakelou has like the driving force, which is maybe different from the others. So that's very valid thought. We tried it actually, because not all our clients are motivated, right? Not all our clients are motivated. But that's why it was very important that we always, case managers, either your clients are motivated or not, you still work with your participant. So it's so the level of work of a case manager with their participant is what really is a factor of them being able to have truthful responses to the tool. But what we are seeing so far is that even like those individuals with the really motivation level is not there just yet, but just seeing few of their indicators shift, even if it's just red to yellow, it's actually an achievement. So it's a sense of, there's even someone who came to the office and like cried like with just the confidence level. It's an issue for her. And so, but it's just a yellow turning into red. But just the mini small things that they would see visually, it changed on the next time point. So we feel like it's giving them like accurate measure of like how they're progressing according to their responses. And then you mentioned earlier if it works for prevention, not really survivors. Yes, we are actually have partners who are doing it with at-risk population, just so the results would help in servicing. That way, exploitation can be avoided before it even happens.
Yes. I was saying the Lifemap, is it applicable for the institutions where survivors are staying, living? So the living setup is the same. Like it's not their own, you know. It's they're not paying rent and so how do you have the? I guess from red it could be yellow, but you know, like so how do you understand? How do you have the indicators for that if they're living in a institution, residential?
Yeah, so these are all the questions you always hear at the time. Because residential care is not like they're given food, like there's like housing in there. So the question has always been, these indicators would actually look green or would actually look yellow. But how our partners are using it, who are in shelters, are that when they skip areas where they feel like they could not like get like an accurate representation of where their clients are, because it's a given that is going to be a strength at that moment. But it actually informs them, especially if they're about to reintegrate. When they are about to reintegrate a client in the community, where more or less the sense of reality comes in, the lens in the assessment is always about, when you go out, what would this look like for you? So that's where the tool has become very useful for them as an assessment for reintegration. But they are using the tool for others as well, also to measure if it's working. For example, there's food, there's safety and everything. If everything turns green while they're in the shelter, they're actually using that information to inform that their services are also working for the clients because they have food. All those areas that should be a given, if they are green, that actually means their services are also well while they are inside the facility.
Thank you for your presentation. I have two questions. One, that how to ensure that the data has been increased and secure, because now we are concerned about data hacking just by hacker. Yes, one. And second, could you share with us the slide presentation and all people account to log in order to learn about this too? Because actually we work in Cambodia, we work close with family, youth, and women empowerment, show that the tool that align to our objective. So we mean that something more we need to learn more about it too. Could you share with us?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I think the first part, I missed the first part.
Okay, we have two. One, how to ensure that the tool and all the data has been secure. That
Okay. Yeah.
secure.
Okay. And this.
Yeah. And the second, could you share with us the demo account or log in to learn? You want to learn about this too.
The demo account.
Yes.
Yes, if you can have access to the demo account. Is that okay? Well, so about data privacy, we have different levels. So just to give you an example with the platform. So let's say your team has 5 case managers, and each case manager is supporting a different group of participants. So we have two access for organizations. One is for facilitators or case managers. So if I'm supporting 5 participants, I only able to see their information. If Jonna is supporting other participants, I cannot see their information. So that's the first level. And if I'm the program leader, I'll be able to see all the information from the organization. And I work at EverFree, I'm not able to see all our participants' information. We only see a participant ID, as you can, I'm gonna show you. So all the participants have an ID. I'm only able to see aggregated data. We also have the data privacy policy that you see. So even before completing a survey, they have to read, they have to understand. We train, and this is the question we also received, we train all the case managers regarding this data privacy. They know how to explain this to participants, and this is not available for other organizations. We can see only trends, aggregated data, and this way we make sure we're not sharing information that is not supposed to be shared. So I think that's the first one. And about the second one, the demo, yes, this is why we built the demo account. This is something that we do with our with the organizations that are interested in becoming partners. They can use the demo account. They can see how they work. We usually give them 2 weeks so they can start using it, completing. This is the one that you're looking at. It's our sandbox environment. So this is not real data. It's all we can do. You guys can do what I just did. You can complete surveys. You can see. You can try to generate these reports. Also download data and see how it works and ask all the questions before becoming partners. So yes, that's an option.
And one more, if the partner decide to use the tool, thank you. If the partner you decide to do this tool, it's free for partner or charge?
That's also good question. Thank you. So I know you were all thinking about that. So right now we have a cost share model because we have developed this platform. We have a team, a product team in the States, and they're working on this. We're always making sure we're hearing what our partners are saying and making improvement. So we have to invest some money, and that's why we have this cost share model. That means that the organizations will pay, yes, subscription fee for a year. Right now it's an annual basis, and it will depend on the organization budget. So there is no like a fixed price. We go through a discovery tool. We analyze all the organizational profile. We have a discussion before, and then we present a partnership proposal. So you will know. It will. You're welcome. Any more questions?
Actually, this is not a question, but our organization has benefited from this. In the Philippines, we are working with children who were online sexual abuse and exploited children. So we use this Freedom Lifemap, and then we have children in the Philippines and their family who saw the progress from red to yellow to green. But can I just say that it really takes time. It really takes time for the family to accept this, because as what Jakelou mentioned, it was lengthy. It had a lot of questions. Most of the questions are very personal to the family and to the child, most especially on their confidence side. Being exploited and abused has really impacted their self-worth, their confidence. But can I just say that at the end, it will be worth it for your clients or survivors, or for them to see that they're progressing in their life. They're not stuck in their victim mindset. And can I just vouch for this? So that's it. And thank you so much, EverFree, for this one.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks so much. Sorry, I missed the first few minutes, though. This might have already been addressed, but I'm wondering, what are the different kinds of organizations that use this? Is it all trafficking, or is it different variety? Can you let us know what are the different types of organizations that are already using and benefiting?
Just like walking. Well, so most of them are just grassroots organizations, and yeah, that's yeah, there's 14 victims of human trafficking. That's the general profile.
But we also have actually organization partners who are working with at-risk population and those working with impoverished like communities in red light districts, but not essentially exclusively for human trafficking. So gender-based violence, so those within this line of organization with these intersections. I mean, we are around and we could talk some more like after our session.
Thank you.
The whole thing.
She mentioned, she said, right. Yes.
Well, that Wi-Fi.